morning. Thank you. The distance, actually outside of a village calling it Acropolis. We are going to visit a family today, where over there we are going to be guided about the unique art of Rhodes and the secrets of that unfortunately dies. And this is the place that we are going to analyze the different symbols of the island, and that is the art of the ceramic pottery. And after that we are going to drive straight back to the ship. So I believe approximately, depending on the traffic, around 1:30 we have to be back the latest. During the whole of the tour you can ask me any kind of questions you like. I'll try my best to answer to all of your questions. Actually, during the tour we leave things inside the bus. The bus is always safe and sound, and if you want to feel more safety we can lock our driver Angelus inside too. And of course we have a totally white bus, and on the front screen window we are bus number 6 from Norwegian Jade. And before we go any further, I have to remind you the COVID protocols of Greece. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, since the 13th of September they have become really strict. We are obliged in closed areas and in the buses to wear the face coverings, the masks, even if you go to a shop. Actually, if you go to closed areas like in the shops, they demand from you, give them as a present something in between. For God's sake, when I say something in between, don't misunderstand me. I'm not referring to the Brokeback Mountain situation, if you remember that movie. For those days, something in between, it was something more elegant and nice, and that was a nymph. Do you have any idea what nymphs are? Let me help you. Mythologically speaking, always, nymphs were the daughters of Poseidon, the god of the sea. Extremely beautiful ladies, that they were living under the sea, the rivers or the lakes. They were always dressed in white, and they were always virgins. I know, worldwide there is a large misunderstanding about the word nymph, and that mainly started since the medieval years. Just need to remind you that during those days in Europe we had a lot of wars happening, and imagine that the soldiers for years and years they were away from their homes, and all of those that had a dream one day turn back home and spend the rest of their lives with plenty of nymphs. Actually, this is how words like nymphomania show up. But I repeat, as a word is a lot misunderstood, because still in Greece we use it and we call it nymphy. Do you have any idea what nymphy means? Nymphy, ladies and gentlemen, very easy, all of you know it. Come on, if I give you the answer you are going to tell me, for God's sake, Leif, it was so easy. Something you said? I will tell you, Leif. It's too early in the morning to ask questions. The name of the nymph, ladies and gentlemen, was Rhodos. For God's sake, that's why we're saying this story for. Anyway, the nymph of Rhodos was such an extreme beauty that when Apollo saw her, has fallen madly in love to her. They lived together for about 3 years. They made a beautiful family of 7 children. That happened by the year 226 before Christ. An earthquake that broke it down by the knees, and the ruins of that remain there where it has collapsed for a lot of centuries. You see, as long as we have either the Colossus or the ruins of that, a lot of reports have been written, and from those reports that the scientists analyze today, they have come to a conclusion that the volume of that earthquake, it was something equivalent to nowadays 8 Richters. The years go by, and a bit later on, during the 1st century before Christ, the Romans show up here. The Romans stayed long time, plenty of centuries, but one of the most important events happening during the Roman years affecting the island till today, it was the appearance of the Apostle Paul, who came by the year 52 after Christ during his 2nd travel in Lindos. He taught Christianity over there and spreading all over. Since that time till today, 97% of the local people are Orthodox Christians. Almost 400 years after him, the Roman Roman Empire, a little by little becomes Byzantine Empire. Rhodes for almost 1,000 of years is a part of Byzantium, but during all that time and afterwards, a lot of different enemies. And actually, when we are all gathered outside of the bus, we will start walking down. Don't forget, 11:09 back to the bus, 11:10 we depart. Thank you. Acropolis, and for those who go up to the top of the Acropolis, you don't need to rush yourselves to go down to see actually the St. Paul's Bay. On the contrary, from the top of the Acropolis you have a lovely panoramic view and you can take photos of the Acropolis. Already I see quite a long queue of people climbing up. I try my best to be the fastest from the whole cruise ship, to be one of the very first ones to come here, because later on, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be extremely crowded. Alright? In front of us we see the parking area for buses. Angelus is going to take the bus immediately to the parking. And more or less close by this area we are going to find our bus later on again. Now, outside, according to the Greek protocols for COVID, actually, ladies and gentlemen, you are not obliged to wear the mask, but you actually have highly recommendation to use the mask if it is extremely crowded.
Going to the Acropolis, Lindos.
Naturbanausen hier.
Ich hab das heute klar.
Ha?
Stop. Schauen wir zur Mama. Oh, is it pretty?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Kurt. Excellent your help. But we had to do it like that way to escape the traffic line, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright.
I remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you please all gather in front of me so I can stop.
LG hatte Alex auch. Ein starker abzufliegen.
Lindos.
To the opposite fortress over there. Let me show you. Do you see on the opposite shoreline a white village? As we face it by the right side, there is a huge rock in Acropolis. There is another castle. So there's another fortress over there. Imagine that we are in trouble here. Set a signal to that one to the next one, and so on. I think the local there is probably moving. And we finally, in a few minutes, the city of Rhodes. We know exactly what's happening here.
Look at that boat coming in.
Lindos. Wow. Wow. Oof. Yes. Wow. shit.
C'est interdit de monter sur les pieds. Ah si, c'est pas monté.
Bye, Lindos.
Na szczycie Także zejdź może Ty musisz chyba zejść niżej. No tylko będziesz wtedy malutka. Nie szkodzi mi, ale słody musi być widać. No patrzcie. No nie szkodzi. Tu idź trochę.
Lindos. Lindos.
To the opposite fortress over there. Let me show you. Do you see on the opposite shore line a white village? As we face it by the right side, there is a huge rock in Acropolis. There is another castle. So there's another fortress over there. Imagine that we are in trouble here. Set a signal to that one to the next one, and so on. Like in the Lord of the Rings, probably. Moving, and we finally, in a few minutes, the city of Rhodes. We know exactly what's happening here.
Look at that boat coming in.
Bye, Lindos. Estoy hasta allá. Bye, Lindos.
Let me show you what he does. First of all, he takes a part of the clay which is very, very, very soft. You can't make clay that soft, needs to follow a procedure of work of about 5 days. The local potters, they use 2 different types of clay, the grey, white and the red one, and according to what they like to produce, sometimes they mix it. If the potter having the amount of the clay that he needs top of the wheel. The wheel is an invention of about 3,500 years before Christ. For many millenniums, what they used to do is to have a larger wheel under their own feet, and by stepping above that, they were turning the upper wheel to do anything in a symmetric way. Actually, the old wheel, the traditional, it is out of that doorway on your right. However, today they use the electrical one since almost the 70s, because that was the fastest way and easiest way to do it. A bowl of water in front of him is necessary, because with that he can keep his fingers wet and he can either declare any different design he wants to. When they have a massive production of the same object to be of the same size, they have to have a metallic box standing with two needles in an horizontal position to keep everything in the analogies of the same size. They use a lot of different metallic tools to give the different designs, or a piece of a sponge to smooth it, or a piece of a thread to carry, but above all the fingers. Without those you do nothing at all. By the way, the experience comes through the years, but the knowledge it is something that it is given from a father to a son as a typical family art. Sarandis, by the way, started at the age of 6. The first 5-6 years you are not allowed to produce. You only follow instructions and you learn. And then year by year, they give you more and more secrets until you become a master. From the way you see him working, you might think it's easy. This is what I thought when I was in the university. I wanted to pretend I'm Patrick Swayze in the Ghost movie. I tried a couple of times, complete disaster. Meaning that either this is difficult or I'm stupid or both. But definitely it's not easy at all. By the way, Mr. Sarandis already has finished a typical vase from Rhodes. We call it Simbuki. The characteristic of that, a double break. One in the shoulder, one on the neck, and then you open that like a flower, and that is ready. We can give him an applause. Thank you very much. Πώς sapeva che stava kaikilla και τα λοιπά από εκεί πίσω, kaikilla. Σου λέω κόλλωνα, έβαζα πετρελαίωνα, καμιά φορά έπρεπε να βλέπεις, γιατί είχα και τους κόκκινους πίσω τότε, να βλέπεις να μην μπλοκάρει, να χρειαστεί να βάλεις λίγο.
Όπως έχεις και τον οδηγό και καλύψε και σε πατήσει καλά, γιατί είναι περίπου.
Πολλά.
Έχει τύχει να πάει πάνω και να δώσει το στήριο.
Και εσύ ήσουν πάνω στην πρέσα όπως και εκείνος θα πάνω στην πρέσα. Το πιο σωστό θα ήταν να είσαι όχι πάνω στην πρέσα, αλλά ξέρεις, έξω, με το γυρανό.
Επειδή ήταν ασύρματο, πιο ασφαλώς.
Εμάς το ήταν με καλό, δεν είχε ασύρματο. Δηλαδή δεν περνούσες προς τα κάτω από εκεί. Είχε όμως ένα μονοπάτι, κάποιοι είχαν καλά στο σερβατοπλέγμα και κόβαμε δρόμο από εκεί μέσα. Και έτρεχε λοιπόν καταρακτούς. Εγώ έκανα αγγλικά του Μαυρίου στο Μανδράκι στην αγορά. Περιμέναμε να πάρουμε το λεωφορείο, είχαμε ψηλοαργήσει να βγούμε. Πάνω το λεωφορείο της ανάληψης και βρίσκω το Άι Γιάννη. Εντάξει, το Άι Γιάννη σταματούσε εκεί στη στάση του Περπάσου. Έπρεπε να τρέχουμε φίλε. Όλη τη Θεσσαλονίκη θα την ανεβαίνεις πάνω, να περάσουμε μέσα από τα σύρματα της Σέης, να πάω στο σπίτι μου. Να βρει λοιπόν καταρακτός, πιάνω το φάκελο τον αγγλικό, το βάζω.
Rhodes. Rhodes. El barco Norwegian Jade. City of Rhodes. Sorry. Oh, lovely. Still in Rhodes. barko yan.